Hello, dear students. This is your chapter number 5, The Quarrel, which is written by Louisa May Alcott and was the one of the best known American authors of her time. Her novel Little Women Alcott's childhood with her three sisters. The character of the writer, Jo March, is modeled around Alcott herself. Alcott's family, just like the March family, here March family, which is in the story, faced financial difficulties. So, Alcott had to work from an early age to support her family. Writing became a way for her to express her emotions and her creativity. This is all about the writer. Now, here we start with the chapter reading. First, warm up. We share a funny relationship with our siblings and cousins. Siblings are who are real one, cousins who are the brother and sister with our aunt and uncle. We love them, we hate them, we fight with them, we fight for them. We share everything, we compete over everything. They are our best friends, but sometimes they are just trouble. Now, enjoy a good laugh at these comics about the everyday troubles of having a sibling. So, this chapter is created by scene type, and in this chapter, characters are there: Joe, Amy, Meg, Beth. These are the sister, Mrs. March, their mothers, Laurie, friend, and the narrator who writes the chapter. First scene. Narrator. It is a warm Saturday afternoon. The Mars sisters, Meg and Joe, are in the room getting ready to go out when their younger sister, Amy, walks in. Now it's a warm Saturday afternoon, and the Mars sisters, that means Meg and Joe, are in their room to getting ready to go out when their younger sister, that means small sister, Amy, walks in. There is an air of secrecy around Meg and Joe, which makes little Amy very curious. Now, when she entered in the room, much secret talk regarding Meg and Joe, and that would make a little curious to Amy that what they are talking about. Then Amy said, "Girls, where are you going?" Then Amy asked to her sisters that, "Girls, where are you going?" Then Joe sharply, it means said in a very instant voice, then said, or in a hurtful or unfriendly manner voice, that, "Never you mind, please just do your own business, don't ask such type of question with us." Then Amy, again turning to Mag, now this time turning to Mag, asked to Mag, the another sister, "Do tell me, I should think you might let me go too, for I haven't got anything to do and I'm so lonely." So Amy said, "Please tell me, I think that I also have to go, that please let me go with us, with yours, and I have not anything to do, and right now I'm so lonely, so I think so that I have to also go with you, both of you." Then Meg, "I can't, dear, because you aren't invited." Meg, "I can't, dear, because you aren't invited." Then Meg said in response that, "I can't, dear, because you are not invited." Then Joe said, cutting in impatiently, impatiently, it means that she is just completing her sentence, or she is just telling the thing why they just go to market or getting ready, but instinctly Joe cutting or just stop it to saying that you can't go, Emmy, you don't be a baby and whine about it. Then she said that you can't go, Emmy, you don't be a baby, that please don't behave like a baby, and don't behave like a childish, and you can't go because you are not invited. Then Emmy said that the younger sister, you are going somewhere with Lottie, that you are going somewhere with Lottie. I know you are. I know you are going to the theater to see the Seven Castles. Here, it was mean not to tell me in time. I shall go too. Understood, and I think so that you are going somewhere with Lottie, and I know you are going to the theater to see the Seven Castle. Maybe that this is a show and they are going to watch the show in the theater, and it was mean not to tell me in time, but I shall go too. Then Joe crossly, that means in an angrily way, again said, you can't because our seats are reserved. You can't go, dear, because our seats are reserved. That way, already we reserved the seat, and it is not proper to poke yourself where you aren't wanted. And please don't do like that where you're not wanted and our seats are already reserved, and don't behave like the childish one. Just stay where you are. It means just stay at home, and you are not supposed to allow with to go with us. Then Amy sits down on the floor and begins to cry. Now, by hearing that cruel words or the angry words, or in a very unfriendly manner by the sister, she just sits down on the floor and begins to cry. At that moment, Laurie calls from the door. The two girls start to exit the stage, leaving their sister wailing. And that suddenly, on that moment, Laurie calls from the door. Then she called from the door, and the two girls start to exit the stage. It means just start to go outside the home and leaving their sister wailing, means crying. At that and only on that position, she both of the girls exits the room. Then, Amy, you will be sorry for this, Joe March. See if you aren't. And then, in a again in an angry way, or maybe in a that sad way, then she said that you will be sorry for this, Joe March, and see if you aren't. Like, this is the thing that we usually, if we fight with our sibling or with our brother or a sister, and some time if we are sad and the things are not going as per we just concern, or we just want that, then we'll say sometimes that you will be sorry for this, you have to pay for this, if you are not doing this, if you are not letting me go, or this one. So these are the things. Then Joe laughing, then the sister just laughed and said fiddlesticks. And what is that? An old fashioned way of saying nonsense. Here's the word fiddlesticks, that is nonsense. Then Joe, by hearing these words, that you will be sorry for this, here she said, oh, nonsense. Then from here starts C2. Then narrator again said, the girls have a lovely time at the play, but in spite of that, Joe's pleasure has a drop of bitterness in it. The fairy queen's yellow curls remind her of Amy and their little fight. Joe has always had a hard time controlling her fiery temper, but her anger never lasts long, and she soon starts to repent. Now what is that? The girls have a lovely time at the play, but in spite of that, means in just if we want to remove of that, or in the position of that, Joe's pleasure has a drop of bitterness in it. It means even that though she is having a good time, there is something that makes her feel upset. And what is that? Because she doesn't allowed her little sister for the theater, the fairy queen's yellow curls. And by seeing the theater's play, and that fairy queen remind her of Amy's and their little fight. And Joe has always had a hard time controlling her fairy temper. And Joe is like a girl who always that who always had a hard time, or maybe that he not, can't control her temper, but her anger never lasts long. But she is not like that remain angry with her for a long time. Her anger is only for the span of time and the some days. And then soon she starts to repent means that the feeling of sorry, and she starts that yes, I do wrong and I have to say sorry for that. So when Joe and Mac get home, then after seeing the theater or see the Seven Castle, they again went to home. Amy sitting in the parlor reading. She never lifts her eyes from the book or asks a single question. Now, when they back to home, Amy never just lift her eyes or never see them, and also never ask a single question. The next day, Meg, Beth, and Amy are sitting together in the parlor, and Joe runs into the room. And then both three of them are sitting together. Then suddenly Joe runs into the room. Joe breathlessly, it means that sounds heavily, has ever anyone taken my book? Then Joe said, has anyone taken my book? Then Mag and Beth immediately said, no, dear. Then Joe again asked Amy, you have got it? That maybe that you have taken it? Amy say, no, I have not. Then Joe, you know where it is then. I think so that you know where my book plays. So please tell me if you have, then give me. Amy said, no, I don't have. Joe, shaking Amy by the shoulder, that just ask again and again. That's a lie. I'm pretty sure that you are telling lie. Then Amy excitedly, in a happy mood, say, scold as much you lie. You will never see your silly old book again. I burned it. Then Amy said, if you want to scold me, if you want to do this like, then please go on, and as much as you like, just scold me. But the thing is, you will never see your silly old book again because I burned it. Then Joe, what? Starting to cry, and she starts crying. You wicked, wicked girl. It means you bitch girl. I never can write it again. I will never forgive you as long as I live. It means you burnt my book, and that means I can never can write it again. And for that reason, and for that your misbehavior, I'll never forgive you as long as I live. Joe runs up to the attic to weep over her loss. Mrs. March walks in and hears the story. Now, by saying this, Joe runs up to the attic. Attic means a space or a room just below the roof of the house, and just go there and just keep crying for her loss. And by just listening to this, Mrs. March, their mother, walks in and hears the story. Then Mrs. Mart gently, in a calm voice, said, what you did was very wrong. Said to Emmy that what you did was very wrong, Emmy. The book had only half a dozen little fairy tales, but Joe had worked over them patiently. That book have only half a dozen. It means 12 fairy tales are there, but Joe worked hard over them patiently. It means Joe just writing the stories. She had put her whole heart into writing each of the stories, and she just give full concentration and full heart, the whole heart, in writing each of the stories. Now you must apologize to her. Then Amy, truly sorry. You are right, mother, I will. Then Amy said, okay, mother, I will. And you are right. At tea time, Joe comes down to the dining room looking grim. Grim means looking very serious and sad and unpleasant. It takes all of Amy's courage to walk up to her. Then Amy said, please forgive me, Joe. I am very, very sorry. Joe sternly, that in a rushed voice, I shall never forgive you. You don't know how much you have hurt me, that you don't know what you do, and now you are saying sorry, but sorry doesn't make sense because you don't know how much you hurt me and how much you do loss to me. Then Joe quickly takes her tea from the dining table and marches out of the room, not looking at Amy, and by having whole conversation again, she just take her tea and go in the dining room. Then scene 3, and what is scene 3? Narrator again said, Joe is still angry the next day. She can't stand the tension in the house and decides to go ice skating with Lottie. Now she's still angry and she can't just feel good in the home. So she decides to go ice skating with Lottie, and Amy runs after her, and Amy also runs after her. Or just follow her. She wants to, because she wants to apologize and hopes Joe will be in better mood after skating, and hopes so after skating Joe feel better. At the river, Joe sees her coming and turns her back, ignoring her. Now, after reaching that and at the river, Joe sees that she also here and coming to her, and then she just turned back and ignore her. Now, Joe to Laurie, is the ice thick enough for skating? Then she asked that, is the ice thick enough for skating? Then Laurie said, it is not safe in the middle. Keep near the shore. Come, let's race. Now, it isn't safe in the. It is not safe in the middle. That maybe from the middle it is not thick as much we think. Just keep near the shore, just keep near the bank of the river. Come, let's race. Then narrator, Joe and Laurie skate away, zigzagging down the river. Amy is struggling to put her skates on and has not heard Laurie's warning about the ice. Now both are just skating away, but whatever Laurie said to Joe, Amy doesn't listen it, and what the warning about the ice, and Amy is struggling with her to put her skates on. Now Laurie soon vanishes round the bend of the river. Joe is just about to turn when she sees Amy skating towards the middle of the river. Now both are just skating, and then suddenly Joe just see that Amy is skating towards the middle of the river, and all at once there is a crash of ice, a splash of water, and a cry as Amy throws up her hands and goes down. Now the scene is what? Because at the middle of the river there is a thick that not thick ice, so by this there is a crash of ice, and suddenly a splash of water from the river, and then Amy just go into that and throw up her hands outside and goes down. Joe tries to rush forward, but her seem to have no strength in them. Now Joe tries to rush forward, but her feet seem to have no strength. It means her feet seems like that I have no power or strength left. For a second she stands motionless. She stares at the little blue hood above the water with fear in her heart. Laurie rushes swiftly past her towards a crack in the house. Now both are here to help for the Amy. Now Laurie to Joe, bring a pole, quick. Now bring a pole or bring a stand or a that wooden stick, bring a pole, quick, quick, just fast, fast. Laurie is calm as he lies on the ice and holds Amy firmly by the arm. Now you can also see in the picture that Laurie is calm and he lies on the ice and holds Amy's hand or by the arm. Joe drags a long pole from a fence nearby and holds it out to Amy and said, just hold it. Together, she and Laurie get the child out. They carry her back home. Now, the scene 4 is later in the evening. Amy lies fast asleep, rolled up in a warm blankets before a fire because she just dropped in the river, so she needs